On your right, Toronto. 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 Thank you. Where are you going to? Toronto?
Toronto.
To your right for Toronto. Hey, right.
Bye, Bess.
Where are you going, lady?
Toronto.
Toronto. Where are you going, please? Toronto. Wait.
Excuse me, we're making a film on the end of the steam locomotive, and we've just been going around asking people. Some people are interested, some people are not interested. You know, if they're sorry to see the steam locomotive go and the diesel come. Is there anything you'd like to say about it?
No, I have nothing to say about it. I'm sorry.
You couldn't. It doesn't make any difference to you what pulls the train.
I think the diesel engine is cleaner.
You think it's cleaner?
Yes.
Do you think people have changed then? I mean, the steam engine belonged to one era and the diesel to another era.
Perhaps.
How do you think people have changed?
Well, I'm not sure the people have changed. Everything's become more streamlined.
Do you think that's for the better or the worse?
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know?
I wouldn't know, no.
I think it's a shame. I think that we're losing some of the romance out of the railroad.
What's the romance, the steam locomotive, to you?
Well, the sound, the whistle, the working the steam, there's so many different things that enter into it that you don't have it with the diesel. The diesel seems to be something that hasn't got no feeling. It's just another mechanical outfit.
You like a diesel better?
Oh, yeah.
What about you?
Oh, I like a diesel, too.
Diesel.
Diesel, too.
What do you think of the steam engine, then? You ever look at it?
Yeah, I think it's the ones with the big wheels, you know? And I think the smoke there gets in your face, and if you look out the window, and it's not much fun, you know?
You think it's old-fashioned, then?
Oh, yeah. It's very old-fashioned.
The age of steam in Canada is over. 1955 to 1961, these years marked the end of an era, and the end of all the noises and smells and sights that go with it. The coal dumps and the standpipes associated with the age of steam for more than 100 years. People of the many railway towns across the country, Kenora, Nakina, Rivière-du-Loup, Revelstoke, are getting used to new noises. Diesel is more efficient than steam, but some people have mixed feelings about the change.
Okay. How many years you worked on the railroad then?
1918.
About 1918?
1918, yeah.
So you've seen a lot of changes.
Quite a few.
What would you like to say about the old steam locomotive?
Well, we still like them, all the old-timers do, but it's like everything else, changes had to come, and we just got to put up with the changes, that's all.
Which would you prefer, steam or diesel?
Well, on our own initiative on our trades, we still prefer the steam, but it's like everything else. It's just the same with the old man that liked the old horse and buggy. He had to finally take over the automobile if he wanted to cooperate with modern competition.
What are you going to do when it's all diesel then?
Well, we'll just have to follow on. That's all. Take it up and put our minds into it and follow on the best we can.
You'd be sorry to see the steam engine go.
Yes, one way. Because we used to work with the steam for many years, you see. Because I worked for the company for 30 years, and I used to work with the steam. But the diesel is very good power one way, you see. Because very clean and is more, don't change much, because the old employees still work the same thing, you know.
How do you feel about it yourself, just, I mean, for your own interest?
Well, I feel bad, you know, one way, you see, because I don't know, I can explain much.
In their heyday, the old steam engines seemed immortal. To a boy 40 years ago, they were the most powerful thing he knew. 200 tons of steel, tugging grain freights a quarter of a mile long across the prairies. Now, on the sidelines. The men call it not a junk heap, but the graveyard, as though they think of the steam engine as something that once was alive. Finally, sold as scrap at $40 a ton, to end up, perhaps, as the railings round a park. Years of steam. 1 million trips out and back home to the roundhouse. Logging trains, work trains, the annual excursion of the Knights of Pythias, the wildflower specials of the old days, the milk runs at dawn. Then each engine maneuvered back into its berth to be ready for another run. And sometimes they came back from epic journeys, from journeys in the mountain passes where they were trapped by avalanches for days. Journeys through summer nights to the seaboard to catch a troop ship. The roundhouse was the place where the stories were told and the legends grew, and in its last days it is sometimes haunted by those who love the age of steam.
Well, what's the big fascination of an old locomotive like this one?
Well, the fascination to me is that these things should endure over so long a period. This engine is a very good example of this. It was built in 1872, and it's been around now for what, 85, 87 years. It has been able to fit itself into modern railway technology so long as to become a museum piece.
Mr. Omer Lavallee of the CPR in Montreal. For a century, his family has been intimately connected with railroading. A photograph taken on his first birthday shows a miniature train circling a cake.
The bell is a regular old Portland bell here we have. There are people today who have never ridden a train. I've met youngsters, teenagers, living today who have never been on a train, who know a train only as something that ties them up at a crossing. This is unfortunate. I think that they've missed something. They've missed an experience. They've missed becoming acquainted with the prime moving force of civilization. I think that, well, Canada is a very good example. Canada wouldn't be Canada without the railway. I think Canadians don't appreciate at all how much the railway has meant to Canada. Without the railway, Canada wouldn't, I don't think Canada would be any more of an independent member of the Commonwealth than, well, some of the smaller African colonies.
When I was 17, I went on the harvester excursion to Winnipeg.
Mr. Austin Cross is a well-known columnist with the Ottawa Citizen. Family legend holds that the sight of a steam engine when he was a baby called forth his first spoken word.
It was a wonderful world because you went down ahead, you saw them couple on the new engine, saw the old one disappear, and for years and years, every divisional point was a must with me. Day or night, I'd get down, watch them uncouple the engine, put the new one on, in the States or in Canada. But that little world of mine's all gone, too, now. You put an engine on, goes to Vancouver, and who cares what's up ahead? Could be a steamroller, as far as I'm concerned, if it's diesel. But with steam, there was always something interesting, something vital about it. I feel we had a special era. We had a good century. I didn't live it all, but we had one good century of locomotives, one good century of trains. It's gone now, more or less. And I'm one of the last of the old-timers, I guess, who still gets a kick out of traveling. I know I'm going to Montreal on the 21st. I'm looking forward to that with some enthusiasm. I'm going up to Pontiac. I'm riding the last train. The CPR has said that if they could, they put a steam engine on that day. I'm going to Waltham, 81 miles up the line. My wife's going to meet me and going to come back. But I'm going to ride that last train. I'm the undertaker-in-chief to railways around here. I buried the Prescott line. I buried the Brockville and Westport. I buried the steam train to Barry's Bay. I buried the train from Golden Lake to Pembroke. Whenever the railway needs to be buried, mind you, I would sooner be opening them up. But, all right, so I'm a mortician. That's all there is to it.
I'm not too interested in the diesel. They seem like sardine cans or something to me.
Mr. Eldon Rathburn is a distinguished Canadian composer.
Just the numbers. I mean, I liken a locomotive to a human being. It breathes and it pants and gets old, gets rusty, gets bald. It's like a human being, you know. We have setbacks. It goes up the hill and wheels stop and go back. Sparks come and it gets mad. It grunts. It snorts. It hisses. It belches smoke out. It swears, maybe. A diesel seems to have everything its own way, you know. No struggle. It's wrong to be sentimental about it because no doubt the diesels are doing a better job, but the companies wouldn't have them. They're cheaper, I imagine. But there's something about the steam engine. It just isn't a passing thing. It seems to be something symbolic about it. It's hard to explain. A lot of people feel this, you know. A lot of different, these rail fan trips, you see, people from all walks of life, women. I was out to the Angus shops a couple of years ago watching them. I wasn't watching them, I was peeking through because you're not allowed, I wasn't allowed in, but I seeing the old engines cut in two, you know, and maybe I'm a sentimentalist. I would love to take one home with me, but
On May the 9th, 1959, one of the last steam doubleheaders made a run from Belleville, Ontario to Bancroft, a little over 100 miles away. Hundreds of steam fans from Montreal, Toronto, New England came to catch the look of it and even to record the sounds it made. one, there will be sights and sounds from the age of steam that will quicken the memory. But above all, I think, we will remember the smells. The acrid bite of the smoke, the fragrance of pine wood and swamp and countryside mixed with the smell of cinder and soot, and the smell of the coaches, cigar smoke, orange peel, and the indefinable smell of plush. Above all, the passing of the age of steam stirs the memory of men who spent their lives in it.
Well, there's nothing more fascinating than sitting in the cab of a locomotive at night, particularly if she's handling a good heavy train. And it's an experience that once you have had it, you'll never forget it. You sit there and look out toward the front and you see the classification lamps, either green or white.
Mr. Bob Walker of Montreal was a locomotive design engineer with the Canadian National Railway for more than 40 years.
The beam of light piercing out into the darkness to the side, the headlight beam shining ahead probably a half a mile. You look up toward to the stack and there's the stack full of smoke and steam shooting up in the air, the occasional spark with it, the vibration under your feet, the clatter of the rods, the clicking of the firebox door, and all these things you seem to feel that the engine is trying to tell you that she's got a job to do and she's going to do it. And you find yourself unconsciously leaning forward as if you were trying to help her and urge her on.
The main thing you had to depend on sometimes were cans of beans.
Mr. George Phillips started as a fireman with the CPR in Moose Jaw in 1906.
And you could always put a can of beans up on the top of the boiler head to get warm. The only thing was you had to punch a hole in it. Otherwise it might explode and spatter you and scald you and spoil the interior of the cab, because we used to have to keep them clean. But we used to carry beefsteak, pork chops, bacon, eggs, cook them in the shovel, fry eggs and bacon or beefsteak or pork chops just on an ordinary fire shovel in the fire.
Did the engineers have their own locomotives in your day?
Yes. They had their own locomotives, and they used to take a lot of pride in keeping them up in good shape and things like that.
Who had to do the polishing on them?
The fireman. The fireman had to polish everything, inside the cab, outside, everything above the running board. And that was quite a job. You did that for nothing.
How long did that take?
Oh, that would take 2 hours.
When the diesels come along, what were your feeling about the diesels?
My feeling about the diesel was that they were a wonderful piece of mechanism, wonderful machine. But they didn't appeal to me half as much as the old steam locomotive did.
Did the locomotives vary from one to another then?
Oh yes. There was none, there were no two alike. One would be actually a good locomotive, and you might get one, the same design and everything, that wouldn't be very much good. In other words, she was a misfit.
The steam locomotive is simple in its elements. earth, fire, air, water. But by a sort of alchemy, these were wrought into a creature that changed the course of history.
There's something basic in a steam locomotive, something human about it. I know the locomotive can't speak, you know. It's just symbolic, I think. I think that's where it's a machine, but I like to think, you know, that it has a heart, you know, or... I know it hasn't, but we put it there.
In the heart of the Rocky Mountains, there is a stretch of railway line that snakes its way through Kicking Horse Pass and the Valley of the Beaver. This was the first railway to link Canada from sea to sea, and it's still one of the busiest transcontinental lines. Communications have played a vital role in the development of Canada, bringing with them new industries and new people. And so over the years, many towns and villages have grown up in the mountain interior. Revelstoke, Field, Kamloops, scheduled stops for the transcontinental trains that make the trip from Montreal to Vancouver in less than 3 days. For the through passengers, a 20-minute stop in Revelstoke is a good opportunity to stretch their legs before continuing the journey. But for others, it's the end of the working day. Here, the engine crew changes as the train is serviced and refueled. While others take over, these railroaders will be going home. In the town of Revelstoke, the railway cap is the trademark of the community. More than half the people here work for the railway. And though the stores on Main Street are much the same as those in any other small town, there's one in particular which all railroaders know well. Jeweler is also the railway watch inspector, and at least once a month, every railroader who uses a watch must come in to get it checked and adjusted. There's only one kind of time on the railways, the right time. It's almost a way of life. Revelstoke lies in that part of the Columbia River Valley where the winters are hard and few industries flourish. But it's the only stretch of flat ground between two mountain passes and a good location for a railway divisional point. The territory administered from Revelstoke is divided into two subdivisions, about 125 miles of single track in either direction, with terminal points at Kamloops and Field. When a through train enters this territory, it is taken over by a local crew that operates back and forth within the subdivision and lives in Revelstoke. But the people in town are only one part of the community of railroaders. Along the track live section men to maintain the line, operators to relay train orders, track walkers to inspect tunnels, and maintenance men to repair signals. In fact, there are as many railroaders living and working along the line as there are in Revelstoke itself, the operating center. It's from here that train movements are controlled, and at the station, the dispatcher has an important role to play. Most of his line is single track, spotted with sidings every 5 or 6 miles. Harry Croft, known up and down the line as JHC, receives reports of each train's progress and works out where two opposing trains should meet.
Here's a 19Y East, copy 3 for them.
Then he'll call two stations along the track, where operators can intercept the trains on either side of the meeting place.
Station to Silhouette for number 7. Canyon.
Canyon.
Hello, Stony.
Stony.
Here's a 19Y West.
As he issues the order to the two operators, the dispatcher writes his own words in a train order book, carefully spelling out each number and place name.
ONE4UR, THRWETWO. Meet extra 8668. EIGHT SIX, SIX EIGHT, East, EAST, at Illecillewaet, ILLECILLEWAET, sign JHC.
Not until it is read back by each operator will this type of order be complete. Meticulously timed and executed, the routine will ensure safe operations along a line where as many as a dozen trains may be traveling. These two slips of paper are destined for the engineer and the conductor of passenger train number 7, engine number 1432. Now a scant few minutes away from the lonely operator's shack at Stony Creek. Walter Pavey has been an engineer most of his life, and although train orders hold few surprises for him, he still reads every word out loud to his helper, who must then in turn read the order back to him. Some 20 miles away, the same message is being delivered to the opposing freight train. Halfway between them is the siding where they will meet. The freight has now cleared the main line and waits for the passenger train at Illecillewaet. The waves which railway people exchange with each other whenever they meet are much more than friendly hellos. They are professional signals, signs that the correct engine number has been recognized, and that both trains may proceed without delay once the track is clear again. This part of the Selkirk Range at the foot of Rogers Pass is one of the snowiest regions of Canada. An average of 50 feet falls each year on the lonely village of Glacier. The nearest town is 40 miles away, and so is the nearest grocery store. Some railroaders have brought their families with them, but others have had to make their real home in town. Such is Hugo Peterson, who is expecting soon to become a father. His wife lives in Revelstoke, while he works here 5 days a week. The heavy snowfall brings its special problems to the maintenance men who operate out of Glacier. Two brothers, Roy Parr and Eldon Parr, have the job of knocking down the snowcaps before their weight snaps the telegraph wires. They are the nomads of the railroad, stopping off anywhere and working between trains. The morning lineup and Roy Parr's watch tell them how much time they have before the next train. Radio programs, telegraph messages, transcontinental telephone calls, all are carried on these wires. So are the dispatcher's train orders. When the brothers finish their 40 miles of track, it'll be time to start all over again at the other end of their territory. Automatic block signals control the movements of trains over each section. And it's the job of Lyle Anderson, signal maintainer, to make sure that they work. Each signal is wired to the railway track and connected to other signals farther down the line. The current comes from a set of batteries, which must be refilled and checked regularly. The section man's day begins and ends on a 6-mile piece of railway track. He inspects it rail by rail, levels it, smooths it, tightens it, and he even eats his lunch beside it. Sam Romero knows every bolt and spike on his section. Train crews say his track is one of the smoothest rides on the Revelstoke division. After 42 years in company service, he plans to retire, to live on a farm, alone. The lorry sheds, wooden structures that protect the line from a mile-long avalanche slope. And Joe Meldozi, track walker, whose only visitors are the other railway people of the line. When they have mail for him, they'll stop and chat for a while. Joe walks his piece of track 6 times a day, a half hour before each passenger train, looking for loose rocks or fallen timber. He lives by himself, close to the east entrance of the sheds. Despite the isolation of their daily work, the people of Glacier share a sense of warmth and intimacy in their community life. Here, a railway station is not only an official place of business, but it's also a social focal point, where gossip is exchanged with the passing train crews. A place where a telegram from town about a newborn son will be spiced with a few friendly comments from the station agent. Glacier has no hospital, no doctor, no nurse. And so Hugo Peterson's child was born this morning in Revelstoke. The good news is shared by all, for here, eavesdropping on the party line is the accepted way to keep informed. More than its share of unpredictable events to the people of Glacier. A sudden storm may cake the telephone wires with ice or clog a switch with snow. Whatever the hour, the tradition of railroading will call them out again. Life has been so ever since the railways began. And there are stories about this stretch of track which have passed into legend. Stories of avalanches that buried whole trains when the railway used to go through Rogers Pass. Those years are past history now. Today, a 5-mile tunnel bypasses the old avalanche slopes. Elsewhere, the storm will be cleared in a matter of hours. Along this thin line of civilization, the modern passenger looks out to a country as bleak and primitive as when this pass was first explored almost 100 years ago. Tomorrow, Calgary, and a business appointment in the morning. In 2 days, Winnipeg, and a family reunion after a long absence. The train is on schedule, and the passengers will be home on time.